Hello.
Hello.
Oh, this is nice. It's me and you being able to chit chat like this.
Yeah, it honestly feels weird that there's not screaming happening in the background.
Well, welcome to our podcast. Our podcast is called It's Totally Normal, the Super Parent podcast. Super Parent.
Super parent.
We are your hosts, Patrick and Donna Hageman. Brought to you by Chiron Applied Health and Performance. And today's topic is parental truths, like poop.
Yeah, like inevitabilities of being a parent and all the things that you expected, you didn't expect, all the things that changed that you thought would change, and all the things that you never would have imagined would change. So it's not intended to be comprehensive. We are not experts. We are just people who are working our way through being parents while also trying to run a small business and provide for our family and be the best parents we can be. So hoping that the things that we've learned along the way might help you. Some of these tools that we've tried and failed that didn't work for our kids but might work for your kids. We're going to have experts in parenting, in child development, chiropractic health, preventative health, pain management, sleep, nutrition. We've got a lot of different people lined up to come and contribute to what we're trying to do. And we just want to help. We want to give whatever we can to help let's say, we want to give you whatever tools we can to make it easier to be a super parent. And by that, it's just like physically present, emotionally present, physically active and capable, healthy, being the example of health and well-being for your kids without wasting time doing things that you don't need to be doing.
And dealing with lots of poop.
And poop. You'll never not deal with poop.
After they're done with diapers, it's like, okay, cool. They know how to use a toilet. Now we don't have to deal with poop. No.
Like, even though our oldest can do that all himself, he can clean up after himself and everything. Now it's just like, hey, Mom, come look at it. Like, hey, let me show you this poop.
I think I instilled that in him because, you got to know the color of your poop, right?
Fair.
To see if you're healthy. Like, make sure there's no like bloody stool or something.
Should we print out a chart and put it in the bathroom? It's like color, texture.
Yeah. If it's not poop, then it's like if they're constipated, then they're like,
oh yeah,
then they're cranky. You know what I mean? Like dealing with, oh my gosh, like our 3-year-old, where it's like he's stuck with poop, and then his whole demeanor changes. Where you're like, I like the just irritable.
Yeah,
he's having to
like
deal with that.
So sensitive.
Yeah.
So sensitive into a moment of just like, it's like a live wire. Yeah. Anything's going to set him off. He screams at the drop of a hat. He cries at the drop of a hat. And he does the like poo dance. Like you can tell his stomach hurts.
Yeah.
But then you bring him to the bathroom and go, okay, it's time to go. Like, relax and do the things you do. Like, on another continuation of that topic, there's so much education around the things to say, the things to not say. Like, you don't want to put pressure on them because you don't want it to be like a traumatic experience that they then are like afraid of. But his response is almost always, I don't want to.
Yeah.
And you're kind of like, can you not? Or do you genuinely are you just holding on to it because you want to be in control of something?
It's like, this is my poop and not yours. This is mine.
I'll give you the pleasure of dealing with it.
It's the power struggle.
Yeah. And
it's so hard. Like, parenting is so hard that you go on Instagram and there's all these videos on like gentle parenting, and like, what if gentle parenting doesn't work? It's so hard because there's so much information out there, and you try to try it with your child, the gentle parenting and stuff. But sometimes it just doesn't go that way because, your child is not made in that way to like, with that method of help. So it's there's just, it's so hard sometimes with different personalities. And yeah, so.
Yeah. One, and I think on that same vein, like, I mean, we could kind of split that into two different things. It's like the
Right.
Instagram parenting stuff, and then the like personality type of your kids,
Mm-hmm.
like recognizing yourself in your child. Like your kid is obviously not you, but they have, in our case, two examples of people that they see regularly, right?
Mm-hmm.
Two examples of grown-ups who are supposed to have it together,
Mm-hmm.
and we don't always have control of our feelings and our emotions, and as much as we try. So it's like that
Yeah.
you can't predict the tools that they're going to pick up from you.
Mm-hmm.
And even if they do pick up the tool, that doesn't mean they're going to use it the same way.
Right.
Like you stopping and taking deep breaths, for one of them, it might just like, and you're like, that's not, but it's like they end up getting more riled up by it.
All this oxygen then. Now I'm really
Now
mad.
I'm real mad. You're like, oh, okay, so that ended up unleashing the Hulk. That's not what we were hoping for. And obviously, like, that's not the way it's intended to be used. And that's not the way you're trying to teach them.
Yeah.
Actually, I saw a reel the other day that was like some study that had said something on the lines of like, your job is not to shape your child or the person that your child's going to become. Your job is to help them become who they are.
Mm-hmm.
And like guide them, give them tools and all of that stuff to become the person that they are, and that the actual impact that you can have is far more limited than we think. So it's not like, us being perfect all the time and like trying to shape our child and help them manage their anger and all of this stuff in effective ways. Like some of that stuff you're not going to be able to impact. So it's more about being curious about who your child is and helping them to discover what that looks like,
Mm-hmm.
rather than trying to guide them in a direction that you think they should go.
I think that's where the difficulty comes.
Right, because that takes more control away from us, which is great because it takes some of the responsibility away from us. But it means that there's...
What do you mean, like finding help for your child?
That's a different topic. More what I was saying was like, because with in training with clients, you are responsible for so much in terms of like helping them create the environment to change, putting certain options in front of them,
Mm-hmm.
but you can't make them make the choices.
Right.
You're not sitting there slapping food out of their hands because they're trying to lose weight, or texting them every second, making sure they're doing their cars. Like they have to do the thing.
Right.
And the same way with your kids is like, you can't force them into those things. And in certain ways, like I can't care more about the goal than my client does. Because that client isn't going to push themselves to create the change for that goal, because they're not really all that invested in it.
Right.
And so like you can't change for someone else when they are the ones that need to make the change. And in some ways, as a trainer or a coach, that's freeing, because it's not your responsibility to change for them.
Right.
Your responsibility is to give them a map, be kind of the guardrails on the road, but like they still are in the driver's seat.
Right.
They're still the ones who are going faster, going slower, taking the right turns, taking the wrong turns. So if a client takes the wrong turn, you go, okay, like this is the direction we're headed now. Is this what you want? If it's not, then we go, okay, how do we get back to the road we want to be on?
Yeah.
And then if it is, what changed? Is the goal different? Is the life circumstance different? But even in that realm, that's easier.
Yeah.
With a kid, they don't have that introspection. So that's what I'm saying is like there's some responsibility that's taken off of us as parents, because we don't have to sit there and go, okay, he has to do this. He has to do that. If he doesn't do this, he's going to be a terrible person. It's more like, understanding who our child is, how they're going to manifest these emotions. And to your point, some of that help, some of the guidance that they need, some of the roadmaps, we're not going to have.
Yeah.
Like some of those tools we never learned.
Yeah. I mean, like when we stopped homeschooling and put him in public school and they had the social emotional learning, it's like, oh, this is great. Like, where was that growing up? There's like so many of us, especially, like the millennial generation. And I mean, like trying to change things for the better and helping our kids be, better people, kinder people for the future, and just having that social emotional learning at school really helps him. Like,
Yeah, well, and like to that point is like
excuse me.
the tools that we developed as kids, we either learned from our parents, from our peers, or from some adult, grown up slash somebody we perceived as much older than us, because sometimes they weren't that much older than us, but they had more of their stuff together. So we're like, oh, okay, they have an answer, like they have a solution that's working for them. So we're going to take that tool too, and we're going to try to use it. Sometimes that doesn't work. Like the tools that I learned growing up were, when you feel anything, scream. Like you're angry, scream. You're sad, scream. You're frustrated, scream. You're happy. I don't know about that one. You know what I mean? Like that was the strongest influence I had, was when you're feeling a big feeling, scream about it.
Yeah.
As loud as you can. Like the temper tantrums that I threw when I was a kid were epic. But like those are the tools. Those are the tools that I had. And as I learned more tools, I got better at communicating and processing, the big feelings that I was having.
You use those tools, you practice them. That's also a big thing, because I mean, like there are people that learn these tools and they don't even use it. You know what I mean? It's like, and what's the point of it then?
Right.
Like our little one, our 6-year-old. You know what I mean? Like we're trying to give him the tools, but it just seems like he just doesn't want to use it. Okay, I'll breathe next time. And then it's just like, he has so much anger, and it's just everything he's learned, everything we talked about, the gentle parenting, all the like breathing techniques and giving space, give yourself space, punching your bed. Nope.
Writing messages like he said he wanted to do.
Although he's been really good with the whole messaging thing.
Well, he does it, but he only does it once he's calmed down. He's already blown up everything.
Yeah.
So there's actually something that I wanted to bring up to you the other day that I thought about, and I was like, so, and this may be kind of a controversial thing, and I think it's probably pretty prevalent in society at the moment, just because people are having so much fun flipping out at people in comments. When you lose your temper, it feels good.
Yeah.
Like it genuinely, when you just you just flip out and you scream, like there's a level of endorphins that get released in your body where it's just like, like you like
gladiator. Like,
yeah. When maybe it's the adrenaline that kicks in when you finally just like roar.
Yeah.
That like
same thing with like crying too,
for sure.
Yeah.
Is like it's almost two different sides of it though. Because when you cry, there's so much benefit to crying. You release these like anti-inflammatory cytokines that boost your immune system. It changes your brain chemistry in that moment and allows you it's almost like the fire sprinklers.
Yeah.
Right? There's a huge fire in that building. The fire sprinklers come on, and then little by little, the fire comes down. But when you just get angry and you just explode, it's like it's like backdraft. They open the door to like it comes out.
Yeah.
That like there's a level of almost pleasure that comes from it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm wondering with him, because he's in such a cycle of that,
Mm-hmm.
that he doesn't even recognize that it does feel better to be angry.
Mm-hmm.
Because it feels like he can exert more control because of the way that we respond when he's angry.
Hmm. Yeah.
And like, how does that sit with you? Because like, that's something I've been thinking about.
Yeah. I mean, well, that's an interesting point. And I think that's like we talked about, one of those things, like getting help for him. Um, and it's, like back in the day, I remember like telling, it was the culture back then that like, oh, I'd tell my mom, I just, I'm feeling mad and feeling sad or something. It's like, oh, that's nothing, or, go pray. You pray, it'll go away. Or, yeah, but I need to do something, along with praying. But or other people would just say like, oh, just brush it off. Like, it'll be fine.
Suck it
Come
up,
on.
buttercup. Like,
Yeah,
rub
you
some dirt in
tough
it.
guy. Yeah, you got this. Get your stuff together. And I mean, like, having those types of emotions, like those big emotions, just stuffing it more and more down. Yeah, it in the long run, it's gonna mess with you. You have all these other issues that will arise, and I think since he's so young, and there are so many resources out there for mental health, and for him to talk to someone else rather than us, maybe we'll give him the safe space of like, okay, I can talk about my emotions and, like what's working, what's not working, with us helping him regulate his emotions. The parenting aspect, I think would be very beneficial and would help us all around in the long run for sure.
100%.
Yeah, because I mean, like, when these explosions happen, it's like the whole house is torn upside down. We're getting riled up because nothing is calming him down, and we're pulling everything out of the hat, and nothing's working, and our 3-year-old's like, calm down, calm down.
Our little guy is
Stop it.
is playing
Stop it.
mediator. Like somehow the 3-year-old is sitting there going,
I'm gonna breathe for you guys.
just breathe, guys. Like, Dad, stop yelling at Logan. Don't yell at Logan. And like, I'm like, just like, you're right. I'm so mad right now, but you're right. Because
Yeah.
like us or me losing with him, it's obviously not going to help anything. And I feel like I've done a really good job of using those other strategies, the breathing, the counting, the taking space, the like demonstrating how to manage your big feelings, communicating, giving him space, and like okaying his feelings. It's okay to be angry. Yeah, I would be frustrated too. Yeah, that's really frustrating when you lose the thing that you were hoping to do. Totally like different from the way that I was taught to deal with my feelings, and I think the way that you were. Like, we really do try to do the okaying the feelings and stuff.
Right.
And like, sometimes it works. Other times it just like, it fuels the fire more. I mean, we've even tried to like physically remove him from the space, like take him
Right.
to a safe space and like have him express his frustrations in a safe way. This is your bed. You can punch it. You can kick it. You can scream at it. You can elbow drop your pillow. You can punch your stuffed Spider-Man. Like, this is a safe place for you. And I will be in here while you do it. So you don't have to process these feelings on your own.
Right.
Right? I will be here as long as you want me here to manage these feelings. Once you have gotten some of that aggression out, let's take some deep breaths, and then we will try to continue on with whatever it is that we're going to do. Like, those were practical things that we've learned,
Right.
and we try to use, and it works with the little guy.
Yeah.
Like,
And I also like how you implemented like the repair after having an
Yes.
argument. I think that is very important, to helping the relationship rather than like just leaving it open-ended. And it's like, well, I just got yelled at and I did something wrong. So, or like, you know, or I'm, you know, quote unquote, I'm bad, you know?
Right.
So
No,
like
when
talking him
it breaks my
through.
heart when he throws those things out there.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't bother me when he says, I don't need you anymore. I don't want you. Like, as I know from all the things that I've been reading and studying and stuff, it's like he's saying his biggest fears in those moments.
So that's totally normal.
Right. That's totally normal for him to say those things.
It's totally normal.
It's totally normal. It sucks when they say that. But at the same time, just recognizing like they're saying their biggest fears.
Yeah.
Go away. I don't need you anymore. I don't want you. Like, yes, you do.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the fact that you can say this to me means that I am a safe place for you to express just the feelings that are inside of you.
Mm-hmm.
And then once it's all over, coming to them and saying, hey, I'm a grown up and I screwed up. I'm sorry. Like, I lost my temper. I shouldn't have yelled. I'm really sorry that I didn't do a good job of managing my big feelings in that moment.
Yeah.
This is what I'm going to do in the future. This is what I'm going to try. Because it, like, trying to model that to the best of our ability.
And I mean, also saying that like I'm practicing too. Like I'm practicing, you know, helping to co-regulate your feelings too. Like I will mess up. And I guess it's, you know, it's just, I suppose just a little bit difficult because he's in that in-between stage, right? Because it's like, he talks so well, like a big kid, and but he's
little. He's
6.
6.
So I mean, like, yeah, okay. Sometimes I talk to myself like, Donna, just cut him some slack. But at the same time, you know, he's like really, really teasing his brother, and you try to pull him away, and then he gets mad over that, and then it's like everyone's yelling, so it escalates, and it's like, oh, yeah, it's tough. And a lot of that is normal. It's normal.
And
But
so,
it's,
like, to that point, we were talking to somebody from the health insurance, and one of the first things they asked after they checked in on the general health of everybody was, do you need any support with behavioral health? And she specifically said, for your 6-year-old.
mhm.
And I was like, how did you know? And in that moment, you know, you recognize it's totally normal. Like,
Yeah.
and I've even, like, my client who will be on here, she's a social worker, like, the amount of times she looks at me and says, oh, that's totally normal. Like, this is what we're trying to accomplish with this part, or this, some of the episodes of the podcast, is just to recognize, like, the stuff that you're experiencing with your kid,
Mhm.
it's developmentally normal for them to be experiencing these things and expressing them in the way that they're expressing them. Like,
Right.
that is what they're supposed to be doing.
And that you're not alone.
What we're experiencing, what our kids are expressing at those moments, it's totally normal. Like, that's what they're supposed to be doing. What we have to try to do is figure out how to get them through that phase and equip them with the tools they need to move on to the next phase. And I'm not, again, not saying at all that we have all the answers. We are learning as we go, just like every parent. I think this is the thing that I realized, the last parental truth that I'll share is nobody had it figured out ever. Like, the people who are specialists in this stuff are still trying to figure it out.
Right.
So, like, as we learn as parents, and I mean, I guess that's to say, like, don't worry if you feel like you don't have the answers. Like, seek out help. That's our plan, is to try to, like, get some outside perspective with him, give him a safe space to express his feelings, so that he can come back to us and feel maybe he has the words to express more about what he's frustrated with. But the last parental truth is that we're all figuring it out as we go. Like, nobody here is perfect. Even, like, I think of Dr. Becky at Good Inside.
Mm-hmm.
Like, an amazing, incredibly smart human being still openly admits to not being perfect at some of these things. Like the person
Right.
who has the answer still is a human being. So like you're going to mess up. You
Yeah.
have to repair and own up to your own shortcomings with your kids, because that's
Right.
ultimately showing them how to do it.
And I mean that it also shows them that you're human.
Right.
You know, like you are gonna fuck up. Like you're gonna, but going back to them and saying like, hey, listen, like you said earlier, I'm sorry, I messed up. I'm trying to learn as well, like you are, and I love you, and I'm here for you, and I want to help you through this.
Right.
And
No amount of this back and forth is ever going to change that. Like you
yeah,
could say literally the worst thing you could think of to me, and it's not going to change the fact that I love you and that I will be here for you no
right,
matter what.
yeah,
So ultimately, the goal for this is to be available everywhere. Stream us on YouTube. You'll get it on Spotify. You'll get it ideally anywhere your podcasts are available.
and check out Instagram, the Mobility Dad.
This guy. um, so my mission, and I guess it's our mission really, is to help parents like you learn the tools you need to take care of yourself, get out of pain, learn how to live the healthiest possible lifestyle, and be an example of strength, longevity, well-being for your kids without feeling like you have to go become a fitness influencer, without feeling like you have to adopt a 4-hour morning routine where in which you have to bathe in the sun while drinking greens on your head on a grounding mat with electrodes. I
With
will say
electrodes.
I am very pro mouth tape. I know it's weird, but I love it.
Mhm. More on that another time.
Yes, we will definitely talk about that more in
That's
the
that's
sleep
that's an
episode.
episode in itself.
Um,
But
but
join us
yes.
next time with our guest.
Yeah, so hopefully our guest, Liz Redgowski, who is a clinical social worker and lifelong nanny who's raised just about a bajillion kids.
She's a phenomenal person. She's helped us a bunch with our 2 boys.
She literally is one of the sweetest people on the planet. You'll love her. We'll talk to you soon.